the law of percentages, right? So you do agree though of making sure that we are viewing it through that framework, to where we because often, like, and that's my struggle, like, it's how we communicate, and, like, if you're communicating to me that it's not your fault or it's other stuff or, all of these things that are outside of your control or only some of the things, and we're not talking about all of the things, like, that is my mission, my goal, and when I'm trying to, like, because I feel very strongly if we can just get this part down and all be in agreements on what moves the needle and what brings about success, that A, you have to do all of the things, not some of them, right? So that's what you were mentioning, all of the things. So cool, you're good at working out, but you're missing all these other things, right? And so you're only going to be so good. And then it goes back to what are your standards? If you have okay standards, then maybe that's good enough for you, which is fine. Once again, no right or wrong answer. But if you're saying you want something more than that, well, now you have to raise your standards and now you have to do more of the things because that's not going to cut it anymore. So I just don't want us lying to ourselves anymore. And I want us to be able to properly help each other, call things what they actually are, no more, no less, and be able to speak to it. And it's like, well, okay, you say you want to get here, you're saying you're not there. Okay, well then, what does your day look like? What are you doing? Okay, cool. You're hitting all these boxes. All right, let's grade ourselves. How well are you checking those boxes?
Yeah.
Right? And then
And really, that should be something that, like, a leader or somebody gets you started on, and then you gotta take it and run with it. Like, if you think that it's somebody else like, the things we're talking about, the whole idea is that you take this and then you apply it. Like, if someone has to remind you if I have to go through your day with you multiple times, like, every time you bring a problem to me, it's like, "Hey, at what point are we going to implement the system to where you are self-managing?" Hey, when like, because that's a lot of effort and a lot of energy where, if if it's drinking a night out and then you have bad results, you know that. Once it happens and that, it's like, "Hey, why do you need someone else to tell you that you did the thing again?" And that's something that I think's extremely important is that when you start on this journey, get the nuggets and then go to work. Start putting them start going to work. And it's really helpful when you have reminders, but I think that one of the things that's frustrating is that you can tell, or it's easy to see who's trying to put energy and focus into all the things and who's not, because the results are very evident. And it's okay if you're, like, naturally gifted and you know, your results get you to a certain point, but you're not gonna be able to like, when you I think would you like, when you see someone starting to put energy into all the things, you really start to see the results. Like, it's very evident that they're working.
yeah, well, they would perform. You don't really ever know if they actually are, because all the things are the things that are when nobody's looking. Like, what are you doing when nobody's around? When it's just you, yourself, and the truth. What are you choosing to focus on? What are you choosing to put energy towards? And that all of that determines how you show up on test day, on game day, on when it's time to perform. Are you able to perform? To what degree were you able to perform? And that's all predicated on what you did and what you chose to do when nobody was around. And then if you still chose, like, because the trap is, and what I was trying to say is, if you have talent to some degree, you can get away with stuff. But was that your absolute best? Did you leave room on the table? Like, and then were we just good? Well, good enough is the question. And then if we are leaning on it, clock it, and then what I find is usually when I clock stuff like that, me personally, I'm not able to change the behavior right away. It requires me, it's usually like 2 weeks, sometimes a week, sometimes a couple days of consistently saying, so this is what we're doing. So we're not going to change this. All right. Well, this is day 3, brother. Like,
Yeah.
so are we saying that we're good with that? That's like, what are we doing here? And you have to be willing to consistently call yourself out as long as it takes until you actually change. And I don't have, it depends on what it is, depends on the thing of how long that takes. And then we can get into like, why can't you, like, now you're lying to yourself as far, like, why can't you, like, you caught it, then make the change. Okay, cool. Well, let's go see how well do you do that?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you're probably worse than I am. Because A, I'm acknowledging it. B, I'm working on it. And B, I have a system. So I'm probably taking action quicker and addressing more things than you are. But that doesn't even matter because that doesn't help me. How's that thought help me? Doesn't help me. How's that thought?
You're right. Thank you.
How's that thought help you? It doesn't help you.
Yeah, it does.
And that's another key thing here is a lot of times we're putting energy and and thoughts and awareness towards stuff that don't serve us. And it's being mindful of that, asking ourselves, does this serve me? How does this help me? And a lot of times it doesn't. And a lot of times the answer is it's a waste of time and I shouldn't be putting energy towards this. It's just getting better at that. And then if that's the case, good. It's okay because we're going to fall short. We got to give ourselves more grace, but then sometimes we give ourselves too much grace. We got to figure out where the center is. But to keep us back on track, um, with being the calm within the storm, the body is a very key piece. We got to make sure that we're doing all the things that relate to the body. Make sure that we're doing the things that are required when nobody's looking, right? And then another key piece into being the calm within the storm is when somebody's trying to test us or the moment is happening, right? And remembering to pause, right? To not react without facts, right? To focus on our energy. The biggest thing for me is just clocking that I'm under attack. And then knowing that what's going to give me the highest rate of survival or getting the outcome that I want to see or that's the best outcome for me is going to be controlling my state and my energy. And so that's
Mhm.
what I focus on first. Like, how am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? And then, bam, back into breath, centering, and just being present and controlling my energy. And then through that process, I'm able to come up with a calm, proper response, being mindful of everything that I'm saying. I slow everything down. I don't need to respond quickly. I can walk the hell away if I need to. I live to fight another day.
Yeah.
It feels like you can't in the moment, but you most certainly can. You always can. The key in those moments, as far as the pause before the response or the don't react without the facts, is it because there's already an attack. So the goal is, in my opinion, in those moments, a victory within itself is that you just didn't make it worse.
Yeah, like, just don't break anything.
As long as you didn't make it worse, then that is good within itself. Good. And then as you get better, then you can start learning to
Improve.
improve and then you will anticipate the attacks, you will have counters ready, you will be able to be calm and then a wide range of plays open up to you, right? But in the beginning, if you don't have that down yet, sometimes the best move is just not saying anything, and just being able to stay calm and not react and requesting to attack this another day or whatever. Just that alone is a victory. But what I see is people learn and get good at doing that, and then they just stay at that level.
Yeah.
They just stay there for years. They
Yeah.
never surpass that level. And I say we should try to consistently improve, and we should not be okay with just staying there. And that's fine if you do, right? Now, as far as like us, and if you're going to stay in our circle, like that's, we need to improve. Like, awesome if that's where you're at and you're able to pull that off. But like, we need to be within the next year, we need to have significantly move past that, right? We need to be consistently growing, consistently evolving, and putting energy towards it. Now, that's what we're doing. There's other places where that's good enough, right?
Oh, you can dominate potentially. Like, people will be really impressed by the fact that you just didn't blow up.
Correct.
And it's like, no, that's the baseline.
And that's fine. And if that's where you want to be,
Yeah.
that's like awesome.
But it's still the baseline.
Let's call it what it is.
Yes.
Let's not call it anything other than what it is.
Yeah.
Right? And that's all I'm asking for, is that we're just calling things what they actually are. We're not pretending like we don't know why things are happening. We're not pretending why we don't know how to get results or why we got the result that we got. Well, okay, what formula did you use? All right, let's go unpack the formula. Oh, okay, well that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I'm asking. And then, because then that removes the emotion, that removes all the nonsense. And to be honest with you, we waste a lot of time on that, a lot of energy on pretending like we don't know why things are happening, and like when we could just be getting straight to the point, and then all that energy that was wasted on pretending like we don't know what happened could be actually put towards solving the problem or evolving or growing or getting better. And
Exactly.
just to me, that makes more sense, but that's a me thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it like it makes the most sense. So I me personally in my camp, not gonna waste time on things that aren't moving the needle, that don't make any sense. And if we have the formula, let's stick to the formula. Let's execute it. Let's call things what they are. No more, no worse. And then let's, if we need reminders or we need to pause and ask ourselves of like, why are we doing this again? And then what is our why? Let's stop and do that, because that's very important. But then once we have that, let's get back to using the equation, using the formula, and then working and putting all of our focus and energy into the things, all of the things that are going to actually get us to where we're